We know Trent Richardson will play with broken ribs. He'll still only get you 2 yards a carry. But Ben Tate looked decent when he first started running the ball, but then he goes out already first game, and he goes out. Good to see the young guys behind him, and I think a lot of people glad that the Browns were smart enough to hold on to Crowell and saw a little bit of what you got with those two as a 1-2 punch coming out behind Tate. But a little bit concerning, it should be anyways, that first game in, first game out for Ben Tate.
Yeah, that's true, and I haven't heard anything today. You may have.
I don't either. I don't have anything yet.
Of that injury. I heard it was a knee. What's the word?
I don't have anything yet on the latest. I haven't gotten the injury breakdown from yesterday. Same with Cameron either. No word yet whether there's more of a separation to that shoulder. I worry because when there's a big separation, a lot of times you can play through it while the adrenaline's pumping, and then once you calm down, then that pain really kicks in, and that seemed like what happened yesterday because he did try to get through the first half. When he came back out after halftime, he could only go one play, and it hurt too much, and that worries me that maybe once the adrenaline slowed down, he may have realized that that's more severe than he thought because that's a high level of pain when a football player is saying, man, I can feel the pain, So I worry that may be more than just hey, he's banged up and he'll be back next week. I worry about that. I mean, great catch to start things. You know, when he caught that, you're thinking, man, all right, they went over the top early and a good diving catch, but by laying out for that, he may have hurt himself, and with not having Gordon, the last thing you want to do is eliminate the weapons that you do have on offense. Unfortunately, you can't control injuries.
Yeah, it is good to see that there is some depth, and there's no doubt that, if you want to the people who say same old Browns, I will say look at the running game versus last year when it was non-existent. When you had nothing resembling an NFL caliber running back on your roster versus what you have today with guys like Terrence West and Isaiah Crowell behind Ben Tate, and it's like night and day from what they were putting out on the field last year in the running game. So if for no other reason than that, now maybe the Browns are going to be competing with let's say the Baltimore Ravens looking for a running back on the waiver wire here this week, but the depth is obviously an uptick from last year when, like I said, there was just nothing, even a sniff of a running game last year that any team had to worry about that was facing the Browns.
Speaking of, I'm just going to mention that I brought up a couple of guys last week that I think are going to be a part of this offense, and we saw that. You talk about depth, I'm joking, but Barnidge and Dre, both guys can catch a few passes at tight end. We did see a lot of two tight end out of the Browns in various formations and stuff. You saw a lot of that. And as I said, I think that's one of the reasons that they went 5 wide receivers, because they count those tight ends as pass-catching tight ends that they got, And I know none of them are game breakers except Cameron. I'm talking about the other two because I know they're not game breakers, but I think that they're figured into the Browns' plan regardless. Like, they're a part of the plan. They're looking at them as extensions of the receiver corps.
Yeah, and the other thing that was highlighted by that and by the 24-point outburst in the second half is for the fans, at least, who went through the exhibition season with very little to hang their hat on in terms of belief that Kyle Shanahan's offense was a real live NFL offense. Now maybe there is some hope that we had some receivers running wide open based on the scheme that Shanahan was throwing at them. 5 wides and including a couple tight ends, and getting guys open and using some bootlegs and using some misdirection to give Hoyer some time to throw and get away from the blitz. It was Shazier looks like an NFL player, doesn't he? He made some nice plays, but you had to avoid that rush and that blitz, and Shanahan's offense at least showed signs of being competent, which is something that we didn't really see.
You know what? I agree there. I don't think his offense stinks. His offense was discombobulated and unjointed in the first half. That offense did not get untracked until they went quick play call, no huddle. Brian Hoyer mostly calling the plays, being given a couple of options at the line, and him really kind of coordinating those drives. Brian Hoyer was the de facto play caller for a lot of the second half, and Shanahan said that. And so
the up tempo one.
I mean,
that was clearly something that.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder if, I know you can't go with that all as your offense, but I think whatever it was about that tempo that changed what you did in the first half, you better come back and do that again. And you know what? I'm going to go right back to the quarterback here, and I'm just going to ignore the hate going on over here in the chat room. Brian Hoyer, to me, at the end of the day, the second half right there, I don't even care. Johnny Manziel doesn't even come in my equation because he's not ready anyway. But if anybody had any questions about what kind of quarterback he was last year when he got hurt, I think that you clearly can calm that mess down after seeing what you saw yesterday. I mean, he really is, as advertised last year, as far as being a spark, being a leader, being competent, not making stupid, silly mistakes. I think everything that he is known for showed itself. And a lot of people, us included, were not worried, but curious if that was going to continue to be the case, or did we just have a blip in the radar last year and he was going to go back to, it's the pumpkin turning back at midnight,
Yeah, that's true, and I did read that he hasn't thrown an interception since that first start last year. Something like 99 or 100, pass attempts without a pickoff, and certainly the Steelers are a team that's a ball-hawking team. So, yeah, he didn't make the big mistake, and you got to go back to that. And as far as maturity and a little bit of experience in the NFL, such as he doesn't have much, but he's got more than the other guy. And I'll agree with one other thing you said, that Booms is an idiot.
You heard that too. Like, I didn't hear it. I got hit with about 5 or 6 messages in a row that said, "Can you believe what this guy just said?" And I'm like, well, no, I'm absolutely not listening. I'm not even near the television at this point. And I could not believe that he said, Mike Pettin, they're a big dumb coach. If he would have just put the Manziel in at halftime, that's why the Browns didn't win. And I'm like, dude, it would have been a debate. It would have been the first half times 2, in my opinion, in the second half. But hey, you can put yourself to sleep however you want, man, I guess. So I feel bad for people from 6 to 10 this morning that drove around Cleveland and probably had to listen to, if Manziel was the quarterback, they would have won for 4 hours. I feel bad for you guys. You probably needed a lot of coffee and some ibuprofen by the time you got to work. That's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. That's the most inane thing I've ever heard. But
I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I think you're right that Hoyer, and he was credited obviously by Pettin as being one of those guys in the locker room at halftime that was insisting that this was not the way it was going to go down, and this was not the way we're going to be, and let's summon something from somewhere and have some pride and go out there and play tough. And to their credit, it was more than talk. They went out and they did it. And so, yeah, you've got to, we talked before about the tough schedule that you've got ahead. You ticked off Saints team coming in this week, and the Browns record in home openers is not something to give you hope, but who knows? We'll see how well they play in front of the home crowd this week, and if they can make it different than the egg that they normally lay in home openers. Maybe we'll have another idea, another step along the way that Pettin might be different from the succession of guys in front of him.
Dan Wismar, there's some collusion going on here again, I think, with those Harbaugh brothers. All I'm saying is, within a half an hour of Ray Rice's suspension, LaMichael James has asked for and been granted his release by the 49ers. Now, I'm just saying, if LaMichael James signs with the Baltimore Ravens by tomorrow, then I think we got a little collusion here going on. Called his brother, said, "Hey, man, look, man, I got this running back problem. I wasn't anticipating this to come out like this. Who you got? What do you got for me?" We don't want to make a trade, man. Somebody might, let him go. We're going to pick the guy up, man. Hook us up over here. No, but you never know. There's a running back that's let loose there. Of course, he was a second-round pick 2 years ago. Wouldn't be surprised to see if the Ravens don't kick the tires on LaMichael James.
Yeah, you talk about your collusion brother to brother. Yeah, that really is something. We knew
Anquan got traded.
Coming into the season, we knew that the 49ers were deep at running back with Gore and James and Carlos Hyde. And good to see Carlos Hyde had a nice opener.
He did.
50 yards on 7 carries and a touchdown.
And a touch.
And maybe that had something to do with Michael James being let go. But yeah, you're right. That does smell bad if James signs with the Ravens.
Called his brother and just said, "Hey, look, relax, man. I got something for you. Just sit tight. You'll see in a minute. Just relax. You know, hey, LaMichael.
I got this.
I got this. Hey, LaMichael, what are you from Baltimore this time of year? I know it's not the Bay Area, but, you know, they got some good things going on, brother to brother. How about I hook you up, man? You know, so there you go. But anyways, that's out there. And I'm with you. Let's see what happens. You and I, when we talk on Wednesday, we will be able to look ahead to the Buckeyes and the Browns. I'm with you, man. It's going to be tough. I mean, it was going to – the Saints can play some ball, and obviously they're not the same – on the road as they are at home, but they're still pretty damn good, and Drew Brees is one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the game, and if Ben Roethlisberger picked you apart, then Drew Brees will find, if you make mistakes, he's going to find them all day long, more than Roethlisberger will, in my opinion, so you got to get on him, and you got to get that pressure, but is it a completely in the pocket that they don't win? No, but it's very tough to go out there and match New Orleans point for point. They're going to win it with defense and running if they're going to be in this game with the Saints. The Saints are going to be a little ticked off after this weekend too.
No doubt about it, and you're absolutely right. I heard you talking earlier. You've got to shorten the game with them. You can't get in a scoring contest with them, and shorten the game with a good running game and with solid defense and getting after the quarterback. That's one thing we did see, and we didn't see a lot of it in the preseason, but of course, we didn't see a lot of Jamal Sheard and people like that in the preseason. He had a nice game, I thought. And, Pettine's approach of pressuring the QB is going to be needed every week, but especially this coming week.
To talk about it all, meanwhile, Indians here, before I let you go, Dan, let's get one more update on things. Are we still sitting at 6-2 here? It takes a minute.
I believe that is right.
To refresh it. Yeah, 6-2. Indians still looking to come back here. Chisenhall with the 2-run home run. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning, and it looks like the Indians got a little something cooking. Got some of that when we come back from the break. Dan, later than usual, longer than usual. Who cares? We had a lot to talk about. Thanks for being here with us. Wednesday opener, and we'll look ahead to the Buckeyes as well. See, you had the Buckeyes home opener last weekend. This weekend, you're going to be at the Browns home opener. You got a little nifty couple of weekends here, man.
It's always big fun. I'll be back at you Wednesday. We'll talk about those Kent State Golden Flashes, and we'll take it from there.
You got it. Thank you so much, as always. Dan, have a good one.
You too, Jerry. Thank you.
All right. My man, Dan Wismar, you guys can tweet with him, as always, at DWismar on Twitter, at DWismar. We're going to take a break. You can tweet with me at The Sports Fix CLE. We'll be right back. 216-539-7535. Final segment. Wrapping it up. I'll get one more phone call in if it comes. Keeping it tight. 216-539-7535. When we come back, talk a little bit about this NBA situation. The Hawks up for sale. We'll talk about that for those of you that don't know. An update on the Indians and the Angels, currently 6-2. Perhaps that changes. We'll be right back, wrapping things up. Final segment of the Sports Fix coming up next.
One bad mother got a rattlesnake suitcase under my arm. Said I'm a mean machine, been drinking gasoline and honey. You can make my motor run. Well, I got one chance left in a night like a cat. I got a
Yo, tell me what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna really, really, really want.
Listen to the Sports Fix.
If you wanna be my lover.
It's an addiction. The Sports Fix. We'll be right back.
Whether it's an oil change or a new set of tires, Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck has you covered for your car care needs. They're your neighborhood quick service experts. They also offer a low price tire guarantee. Choose from 13 brands, and if you find the same tires at a lower price within 30 days, Quick Lane at Valley Ford will refund the difference. 5715 Canal Road, right under the 480 bridge in Valley View. Come see why life is better in the Quick Lane. QuickLane.com/Valley Ford Truck.
Let's talk about the X's and O's of family entertainment. Every parent in Ohio knows the importance of being able to draw up an activity that'll get you out of the house for a couple of hours. But it needs to be affordable,